Don't go by the moss log. Jill flirted in a soup fog. You turn around in Laurel, you'll never come home. I could high step the rock bowl and drop in a King Cole. That's a mountaineer's hunt, son. Don't go it alone. Hemlock Rock is where I'll stay today. Whiskey's got me feeling frail. If I get cold from sitting, I'll take another swig and head down Cadillac Trail.
This is David Hamilton with Longspur Beyond the Holler. Today we're here with Mr. Phillip Vanderpool from The Virtue on the Outdoor Channel, and we are also with my good friend Lawson McKee. I'm going to get the sponsors real quick, give them a shout out. We have Peanut Addiction from Mr. Sam McCoy. They're a United States brand. They're a pure attraction for deer. They also have also great minerals, vitamins, stuff like that the deer need, especially through the summertime and when their antlers are starting to grow. Give them a look up on our Instagram page or on their page as well, and get your order today. And we also have Thorn Broadheads. They're a United States brand as well. And they have fixed blades, mechanical blades. They have replacements. A couple people were using them for turkey season this year. Check them out. They're a great name brand. Like I said, United States name brand. You can't beat that. Also, check out Base Camp Coffee from Cumberland, Maryland. They have a little coffee shop there in Maryland there. And, man, I'm telling you what, they have all sorts of pastries, different kinds of coffees. You can order coffee beans and stuff like that online. Check them out if you're in the area, or also go on their Instagram page as well. We also have Still Hollow Spirits. They're from Job, West Virginia. Once again, United States brand. They're locally owned, everything like that. They have different kinds of whiskeys of your taste, and check them out. Order yours today. They have hats and shirts and all sorts of great stuff as well. And then not least, we have Dan's Hunting Gear. They are from Sugar Creek, Ohio. I mean, we use all sorts of stuff from Dan's Hunting Gear. They have pants, they have chaps, they have shirts, they have hats, they have dog collars, different kinds of tracking equipment we use for our dogs, leashes, collars, everything you need there. Check them out. Like I said, Dan's Hunting Gear, Sugar Creek, Ohio. We're here today with Lawson McKee and Phillip Vanderpool. He's our special guest. He's with The Virtue on YouTube and Instagram and everything. Phillip, how are you doing today? Lawson?
I'm hanging in there, boys, like a hair on a lollipop. How about you?
Oh, man, we're doing good. We're sweating bullets up here, though. Getting to be that time of year where everything's getting pretty humid now, and we're chugging along.
Oh, yeah.
I heard you.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you, Phillip, we worked real hard to get this little podcast sewn together between your crazy turkey season. You kind of hit, I guess you hit all over the United States and Mexico, didn't you?
I tell you what, it was a busy season and some crazy weather to go along with it. It's probably the craziest weather I've ever dealt with in a spring turkey season. But, yeah, we managed to prevail and ended up with a pretty solid season.
That's kind of the same story we had here. Me and David went opening morning, and we had snow.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Did you get any, I don't know if I say it right, but did you get any golds in Mexico?
I tell you what, that Gould's hunt. Now, of course, we were hunting down there with Jay, and I tell you what, Jay's got it going on down there. It's unbelievable. Probably one of the most successful turkey hunts I've ever been on, and memorable. The terrain is like you're in Colorado, in the big mountains of Colorado, but we were in old Mexico. Wow. That's the terrain we were hunting. We were about 7,800 feet above sea level, and the turkey hunting was simply off the charts. I think there was 9 gobblers taken in with 8 hunters. We were 100%. We videoed every single hunt and,
wow.
Documented those and got several angles. It was in a day and a half we were done. I was there the first morning. Billy Yargis, myself, who is Billy's pro staff for Woodhaven, and of course he's Grand National Calling Champion and World Champion as well. And we had one of his buddies there hunting with us the first morning and myself. And Billy took 2 gobblers. He wanted to take 2, and you're allowed to take 2 where we're at with Jay. But we all tagged out. 4 of us tagged out before 10 o'clock, all on video. And when I say on video, I run multiple cameras. I think I had like 5 to 6 angles of everything and shot 4K slow-mo. POV angles on the decoys, the DSD decoys with the Woodhaven turkey calls. I'm just telling you guys, it was simply off the chart.
I know I talked to you, I believe I talked to you the night you were flying out or the morning of, and you sent me that guy's information on that outfitter you went to, and I'm telling you, probably the most beautiful bird there is. Oh, man.
And the neat thing is, Jay, his guides, they film everything for you anyway.
Really?
And, I'll tell you what, his 2 guides that were with us, man, I can't say enough about those guys. They're just a total class act. Right. And I think Jay has got like 355,000 acres on 35 different ranches.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, that's hard to grasp there, that much land. I mean, that's unheard of,
Every turkey gobbled like they're supposed to, came to the call, come running into the decoys, smashing the decoys. It was just simply God-given, I guess. Right. I've never had so many. Every turkey that we worked came to the call. Wow. It was just like it was just meant for all of us to have an incredible hunt. And of course, that was my first time to hunt the ghouls. I finished the Royal Flan alongside my old buddy there, Mike Pentecost, who owns and operates Woodhaven Turkey Calls. That was Mike's first time, and I videoed Mike's hunt. It was very special. Him and I had an incredible moment. We got 21 minutes of footage of his gobbler before he decided to pull the trigger.
I'm going to tell you, the getting on the video side of turkeys, it changes the game. We tried this year to get a little bit on the film, and it's so, you're filming blank space, what seems like blank space, and just listen to the turkeys talk. And then by the time you think, okay, I'm going to give it a break, and then I'll turn it back on, all of a sudden the gobbler shows up, and
a lot of footage.
Yeah, a lot of footage where you got to go through, and until somebody's went through that of filming everything, they don't realize all the equipment you're carrying through the woods.
Oh, getting to the blinds, setting up, and making sure that everything's going perfect, and hit record. That's an important thing too.
Yeah, you've got to do that. And of course, audio, you got to have good audio. Audio creates the emotion.
Now you're talking about how well the turkeys gobbled for you there. I know that's not the case in our hometown of Arkansas.
I'll tell you, our home state of Arkansas has got a real problem. If we don't get a handle on it, and they're going to have to cut the Ozarks and the upper part of the state, they're going to have to cut that down to 1 to get back. I mean, we still got, it don't make any sense to me. You got half the state with a one gobbler limit and the other part of the state with a 2 gobbler limit, and we don't have the turkeys to have everybody else after they tag in their first turkey coming up in our neck of the woods and shooting their second turkey.
Right.
It's just putting more pressure on our turkeys.
Right.
They don't have a chance between the predators and all the rain and the moisture we're getting. It's a combination of so many things. But there again, we were still just barely over 7,000 for the state for a kill. The last 2 years, I mean, that's crazy. There was a time we were killing 18 to 20,000 turkeys.
Oh, absolutely. When I met you, I believe it was 08 or 09 at Zeke Barrett's bow shop. I was helping you set up. I think you were shooting. I don't remember at that time, but I helped you set up your bow. That's kind of how I got to talk to you. And at that time,
absolutely,
I was still in school, and at that time, it was nothing to go kill a gobbler in Arkansas. I mean, it was fun hunting. I mean, you go out and your mind swirled because you was like, okay, do I go get this bird or I go get this one?
Yeah, that's when it's fun.
I wish, I wish it was like that, like we used to have it. But ever since, we had those 2 major ice storms pretty close together, and it seemed to me that's where we really started declining after we had that real, I think it was 2011, I believe, or maybe it was
10.
09.
I think it was
We had the
10 because that was a
09.
senior. We was out of power for like 30-something days in town.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And we had all that ice on the streets. I think that had a major impact on our turkeys.
I agree.
And then we had a really hard freeze when the hens were all sitting on the nest, and most of the eggs, they said, got froze. So it kind of started going downhill from there. I don't know.
Kind of an ice ball or a snowball effect, rather than just we got so many things going against us. It's like you said, somebody needs to back up and rethink this whole thing and try to help out. But
and I'm looking, and I'm seeing Missouri was declining big time over the years. I can remember back in the 80s and the early 90s, it was unbelievable. I mean, turkey hunting in Missouri was the most unbelievable thing ever. But it's not like it once was, and I'm seeing them decline. So hopefully they'll get a handle. Missouri's usually pretty good. Their DNR gets in there, and the conservation department, and they get a handle on it pretty quick. I think Arkansas is a little more political. Right. I don't know the reason or the rhyme or reason.
We struggle with the same issue in West Virginia. Not necessarily with turkeys. I have seen since I moved here, the hunting or the population go down, but the deer, we really struggle with the deer on the side of the DNR kind of stepping in and kind of cutting back a little bit.
That's what I just looked at.
Well, I've seen our deer cut back big time too because of the CWD.
Oh, yeah.
We're in that CWD zone there where we're at in the Ozarks, and it was really bad. I mean, it was so bad, and there again, everybody has an opinion, but I've got documented video footage of, I think, what actually happened. I think the elk herd had a lot to do with that, and the majority of that is along the Buffalo River and stuff there. But there again, you got to be careful what you say and who you say it to, because you're stepping on somebody's toes.
Exactly.
But it has been a problem, and our deer population is way down where I'm at compared to what it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Well,
and I think they opened a can of worms and letting everybody kill deer, thinking that all deer have CWD.
Right. I agree. We're surrounded by Ohio, and you know how well Ohio is known for their deer hunting.
Oh my.
But you'll go to the public land that is around here in our area. We're kind of limited on public in the northern panhandle here, but you'll see more out of town trucks during rifle season because they come to West Virginia because they can kill so many deer, and then they'll go home to kill their big bucks.
Yeah, you see it everywhere around here.
But backing up a little bit, people that may not know you, Phillip, you started out. I know there were so many hours of everything, but when I met you, you were with.
I was a hunter specialist.
Hunter specialties.
The HS Strut, everybody knew them as HS Strut on the turkey side, and the primetime bucks, primetime bulls on the elk side, and we had the waterfowl and the predator line there with Johnny Stewart. At one time, HS was definitely the big dog,
Right.
And then, unfortunately, the company got sold out, and I did stay with them there for a little while, and then I had the opportunity to go out on my own, and I've been out on my own now for almost 10 years, and it's probably been one of the best moves I've made. I mean, I started out as the cameraman. I mean, years ago, I got my foot in the hunting industry through videography. Although I was already a great hunter, and I don't mean to plug myself, but I had accomplished quite a bit. I'd won the Arkansas Big Buck Classic in the archery division a couple years in a row there, and then I think first runner-up another time, and that was back, when it got started good and stuff, and there've been a whole lot more bigger bucks taken during that time. But I kind of had my foot in the door, and I shot the first bull elk in the state of Arkansas with a bow that was ever recorded. So just little things that I've been blessed to do, and it's the good Lord giving me that opportunity, no doubt. And then I landed that job with Hunter Specialties, and then I became not only in charge of all the camera and video equipment for HS, but also kind of known as the bow hunter.
Sure.
I was blessed to shoot some big deer, and then back in 06 when I shot that huge double drop, he actually had 3 drop tines, but he's known as the double drop tine, the 200-inch whitetail taken with a bow
Now,
on video.
I'm going to interrupt that story just for a little
Yep.
feedback. I've watched that video
Yeah.
several times, whether it be on Outdoor Channel or
Yep.
whatever it was at. Now, correct
Yep.
me if I'm wrong. I believe you missed that deer the night before you killed him.
No, I
No?
didn't miss him. I had an encounter with him
Okay.
about a week. Okay, I had an encounter with him about a week before, and I rattled him up on the other end of the property there, and I couldn't get a shot. I had a decoy, and he wouldn't. I had two other bucks that had came into my decoy, and they were going to have to walk past me. But this rascal probably had played the game, and we were very close to public land. No doubt that this deer was all over the public land because
Wow.
I was right next to it. I actually shot him on the private, but I was next to the public ground. And I had that encounter, and I was sick. I had him within shooting range, but it was just so thick in there, I just didn't feel comfortable with the shot. And then Josh and I, the boy who was videoing me, decided we got the wind right. It was on a Sunday, my mom's birthday of all times. It was October 29th. We already hung a stand back there in the summer, and Steve Snow, my buddy, had just bought this property, and we were, learning it as we went. And Josh and I went in there 2 hours before daylight, and I could never found the stand. And then we hung another set for the camera stand, and wouldn't you know it, the first big rattling sequence, I rattled that big guy in, and was fortunate enough to get an arrow in him, and that changed my life. That deer totally changed my life because there wasn't 200-inch deer shot back then. Stan Potts had killed a giant there a year or two before and kind of set the tone. And then when I got that big deer, it changed me because that's what everybody knows me of. It was the most popular hunt ever when they done the survey back during that time. I think Mark Drury had killed a buck called a skyscraper that had drops on it.
Yeah.
Well, it was down to his buck and my buck for the best overall kill, and my double drop actually was voted the best kill of all time back then.
It's amazing what blesses you
to
and
this
changes
day,
everything.
Yeah.
And it did. It changed my life, guys. Then HS wanted me more in front of the camera because we done a lot of seminars. So it took off from there, and then I was the guy that wore two hats. Eddie Salter said a long time ago, said Phillip Vanderpool is the guy that wears both hats. He can run the camera. He can be in front of the camera or behind the camera. And I was blessed, and became kind of the bow hunter. And I shot a lot of big deer when I was with HS. And, that's how I got my foot in the door. And David Carmen, the owners, gave me that chance. And I worked with, back then, worked with the best pro staff ever developed. You don't see pro staff like HS had back then.
No, you had yourself. I met you, and I met Eddie Salter as well as Steve Kreiner. He was on the Predator side of things.
Steve was the Predator dude. I'm telling you, Steve Kreiner is a Predator killing machine.
He is the
and Eddie
dog
Salter
soldier.
is a turkey killing machine.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. So I was with, Alex Rutledge and Matt Barrett, and Rick White, Wayne Carlton. I ran with Wayne on the elk side of things, and I was fortunate enough to video all his big bulls that he's taken over the years and just developed. Johnny Stewart game calls we owned it, and Gerald Stewart, the son of Johnny Stewart, I ran with him a lot. I tell you, I've ran with so many great people, and all the country music singers, Craig Morgan, and of course, Blake Tilton, and I got to be on their buses and tour with them and film their hunts and go on stage on their concerts and stuff, and there was a lot more than just those guys. But
just take
everybody
the outdoor life into so many aspects.
Yeah.
And now you have the Virtue.
Right. And I own and host the Virtue TV, and we're getting ready to start our first fall season with Pursuit Channel, and I had the opportunity to go with the other channels, but Pursuit reaches more people. And that's the average guy that I'm wanting to reach. It's a free channel for everybody. And I just feel like it's the perfect fit for me to reach out there and start the third and fourth quarter here. And we'll be doing a lot of big whitetails. That's some of the hunts that we've done. And it's my first year on Pursuit.
Yeah,
and I really look forward to it.
I believe
You
I
know?
talked to you. Time flies. My son just turned 1, and I never put an aspect of time until I had kids, and now I blink. And it's over with. But I spoke with you there a while back when we were going to first start. This was prior to ever starting this podcast with Longspur, and that's when you first signed your big contract with Pursuit. It was kind of a hush hush deal, and I remember. I mean, I think we talked for over an hour, maybe 2 hours on my drive to Arkansas about how excited you was, and we broke down to the Pursuit, how many people it reaches, and it so many aspects.
Yeah, over 30 million households.
Right.
It's crazy.
It comes on your basic channel, when you have direct or whatever TV, it reaches
right.
so
Cable,
many.
whether it's cable or Dish Network or Direct TV, any of the big major networks, and a lot of the regionals. So that was my purpose to going with those guys, and I feel like the people that watch Pursuit Channel is the average Joe, just like myself, and all they're wanting is an opportunity to get out there and get blessed and do what I've been able to make a living doing for all these years. And, the good Lord works in mysterious ways, and that's probably the reason. And I work with so many good sponsor partners, truly blessed in that. And I want to say also, on the digital side of things, Carbon TV, it's a free app. All you have to do is download it on your phone, Carbon TV, and you can watch it on your TV as well if you got a smart TV. And it's a free channel, and I've been on there for 9 years. I've been on there longer than anybody now, and it's been a good direct source. I work with Realtree, with the Monster Buck series. I've been blessed to do that. We do the YouTube, and then I work with the Respect the Game on Sportsman channel with some of my sponsor partners and good friends, Larry McCoy and them guys there at Elite Archery, and they have the CBE and Scott releases and CBE sites. That's custom bow equipment. And I work with those guys, a lot. And now I'm hooked up with Woodhaven. Matter of fact, I'm in Heflin, Alabama right now, waiting for Mike and his wife Robin to get back here. I'm sitting here shooting some stuff down here, and Mike and I are working together with Woodhaven turkey calls, and they're a custom call maker, and they're the big dog in the turkey hunting side of things. We're going to grow the whitetail side of things. They got an incredible grunt call. It's a 1999 grunt call, and you can snort wheeze, and you can grunt on it. It has the rubber stretchable, you can reach out there and touch them. It gets as loud as you want to, or you can get down and tone it down. These guys are great to work with, and they put everything in their craftsmanship. When you're thinking of quality craftsmanship and a product that'll last you a lifetime, Woodhaven's got it going on. I mean, they really are.
Just listen to everything.
Yeah.
You're I hate to say it, but you're no spring chicken, Phillip.
Yeah.
And I know I've ran into you a few times, and I'm a running gun type hunter when it comes to turkey hunting, especially. But I've heard from many guys that I've met through you or through the hunting industry. Steve Kreiner, Barry Greenhall. He said there's not
Barry started his career with me running camera for me.
He said there's not many guys that can keep up with Phillip.
He's a good dude.
Did you ever see Did you ever see yourself doing this when you were starting your career with HS? I mean, you're a busy guy now. I bet you never imagined you was going to be as busy as you are now with the Virtue and everything.
Probably not. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I was content on giving up most of my hunting just because I love to capture everything on camera. I really I'm not the best. I'll never be the best, but I'm the best. I like to be the best at what I can do.
Right.
And I love to get the multiple angles, and I do a lot of self-videoing, guys. I really do, just because I'm so darn particular on how I want to do things. I'm kind of set in my ways. And you're right. I'm at retirement age if I wanted to retire, but I don't want to retire.
So, what's your setup with cameras? I mean, you run a GoPro and another self camera, or I mean, how do you?
Well, I usually run a GoPro for the on me as far as that goes. Then I run a big 4K camera of some kind, depending on what my setups are. I've got 2 or 3 different sizes of cameras, and then my DSLRs. I have one in slow motion. So you're always going to see something that I'm doing. You're going to see it in slow motion. I love slow mo to show the simple fact of a shot or a hit, and the turkey's hitting the decoys or a big buck hitting the decoys.
That's what you were.
And then I run 5.12 cameras this spring, and you will not believe, because they got them in 4K now, the little Force Pros. I ran them as POV angles at the turkey decoys, and you will not believe the footage I got off them. I mean, it's Mike and them. These guys were just totally blown away at what I was catching, and I do that I run those cameras because a lot of times if you're running GoPros or Tacticams, and I'm not, they're great. They work great, and if I've got one on my bow or something, that's what I normally use. I love to run a Tacticam as a POV angle on me or something. But I run my trail cameras out there because I don't have to worry about turning them on. The gobbler comes in, and I don't have to worry about not coming on for the most part.
Right.
And it's amazing what I get out of them. I get the audio, I get the video, I get it in 4K if I want it, or just HD. But I have ways I do things and stuff on the properties I hunt. I'll set up cameras trying to catch the deer coming on the trails or coming into the field, pinch points and stuff. And it don't always work, but a lot of times I get the big deer coming in and get the angles of them coming in to where I'm at before they ever get to me. And, you're not sending it to your cell phone or anything, but you're getting that for your quality video footage to tie in that just adds to the hunt.
It's amazing how much footage it takes to make a full hunt film.
Oh, man, we're just learning, and I kind of blame you for the reason this last year of Lawson and I getting into it, because I mean, there's so much into it. A person thinks, oh, I could self video hunt, that ain't a big deal. I mean, there is a lot into it. I mean,
trying to find the right tree, you find the perfect tree for your area, for the wind, for your deer, and then you look at the tree and say, well, I can't fit another stand up there for my camera guy. Yeah. Or it's just so many aspects.
Exactly, guys. And I can tell you shortcuts has helped me. I mean, as far as that, whether it be a ground blind setup or a tree stand setup, but you have to make it. But I'm going to tell you the whole key is you have to make up your mind. Sometimes you're not going to get the shot, and you don't want to force a shot on a big deer when you may get another opportunity at them.
Right.
And it's tough. You have to discipline yourself. And and you got to make up your mind. Do I want the footage, or do I just want to kill the deer?
Absolutely.
And in my business, what I do, I call it the EIEIO effect. Okay, guys. When I go into this, old McDonald had a phone. All right. Okay. First thing you want to do is entertain. You want to inspire, and you want to educate. Inform often. That's it. EIEIO. Right. Old McDonald had a phone. And that's what I'm trying to do to the younger generation out here. You guys don't realize how good you got it made, because we didn't have all this computer stuff and where you can Google this and look at this and look at that when I started.
Right. Yeah, you had to learn the hard way.
I'm just saying it's us old guys that have paved the way for the new guys. And I'm glad that I can be able to do that, because I love to give back. I love to teach and inform and educate. That's what I'm at right now with my age and stuff. And I've been blessed, guys, to kill so many gobblers and so many deer. And what I pride myself now more than anything is being able to give back and taking someone and documenting their hunt and watching them. It may be their first turkey, or taking a guy that is the special needs or a wounded veteran or something like that. That's what really
absolutely
inspires me to keep doing what I'm doing.
The last several years, I've pressed hard to take a youth hunting. I mean,
we took Russ Hervey's boy out this year.
You go and you kill. You've been on hunts this year, like you said. You went and killed that gold. It was a special moment, absolutely. But even when you take a youth, I get more excitement when I see the smile on their face. Whether they kill one, they hear one gobble, or it don't matter what happens. It's just incredible the feeling you get to see that smile on their face.
Yeah.
Well, and what I tell everyone, I've got a slogan, and basically it warms my heart and soothes my soul to be able to capture that moment for them. And when they love and appreciate it, just for an example, Jacob, in Maine, you can do it. You can shoot 2 the same day. And Jacob killed 2 big gobblers with 1 shot. And I got that on 6 different camera angles. And I got him right over the shoulder. You see the muzzle blast, and you see both heads rocking in slow motion when you're watching that slow motion. It's incredible.
Well, Phillip,
it was shot in 4K.
We back up to you being known as a bow hunter. Kind of what started this whole podcast is Longspur Tracking and Outfitting. Just kind of back up, tell you a little about them. They started in 2014. Sean Butler, and you may recognize that name. He definitely recognized you.
Yep.
I
do recognize that name.
He did a little bit of turkey call operation. They made some wing calls and some diaphragms handmade in 2014. At the same time, they had tracking dogs of their personal self. That time and day, it was not legal to track a deer with a dog, but now him and his wife, Chrissy, they lobbied for West Virginia, and it became legal in 2020. So right now, to our knowledge, we're one of 4 in the state of West Virginia that is licensed and legal to track deer in West Virginia. I spoke to him a little bit just to try to get some names, but we track Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, Illinois, Maryland, Kentucky, and he lives where there's bad service, and I'm sure I missed one. But we tracked for a couple outfitters in Ohio. One of them being Ohio Whitetail Ridge Outfitters there in Carroll County.
Okay.
And right now we have about 30 trackers for us. Sean actually owns, Longspur Outfitter. They own the National Tracking and Shed Dog Registration. And I guess in terms of put that to the listeners, you have UKC and AKC in Dog World, and this registration allows you to put the recoveries on your dog name. So if you have, if you have Sally and she has 5 recoveries, it all goes on her pedigree in terms to, for her value.
Uh-huh.
And you being the bow guy, we've all been there. You can't, how many times have you made a shot and that gut just drops and you're like, that wasn't good?
I've been pretty fortunate, but I will tell you this. I've watched some dogs work, and hold on just a second. And I'm just sending a guy, somebody's trying to call me here. I understand the message. I'll call him back. But I got to see the dogs work on a couple occasions this year in Kansas with some folks I hunted out there with. And I'm telling you, like you said, we all want to make a perfect 12 shots. But whether you're gun hunting, bow hunting, or whatever, if you have the opportunity, you can get a good dog to track. It may make the difference. I mean, gosh, you might have already got that time and money already spent on the hunt anyway, and then you shoot the buck of a lifetime and maybe you hit him too far back or whatever reason.
Right.
Those dogs can definitely make a difference.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
And once you make a name for yourself, I mean, it's pretty amazing. And I know how I would be. I've never, knock on wood, guys, I've lost deer. Don't get me wrong, but I've never had a dog find my own deer. But this is kind of new, getting started, I think, and I think you're going to see a whole lot of it. And I will say this: you can't just go with anybody. You've got to go with somebody that has a dog that has the reputation to find your animal. Once you find that guy, buddy, he's invaluable.
That's our goal there. I mean, Sean has done a great job growing this Longspur,
yep.
And had several recoveries. Like I said, he had bad service, so I couldn't get how many recoveries, but I believe
he's talking about doing turkeys too.
We're trying to get spring turkey legal because turkeys bleed internally. Shooting with a bow, but I believe, and this is just a rough number, I believe him and his wife recovered at least 40 deer this year that would have never been found. One of them was I believe it was a 156-inch buck in West Virginia, which is not common. Him and his wife found the deer, and I don't know the full story, and hopefully one day we'll cover it on the podcast. But it's a growing world, and in the words of Sean, we're ahead of the game, and so we're really hoping to grow and be the name you call. I know you hunt all over the world, and one day you might be in our neck of woods, and
Well, and I'm looking. I've been blessed to kill lots and lots of big deer. I've sort of been blessed. I guess the hunt for me as I've gotten older, it's not just about killing a giant buck. I may hunt a particular deer. It's more for me for an age structure. If I get a deer that I've had on trail cameras, I love my trail cameras.
Yep.
You know, it's about building a history and what I can get out of that hunt. I may not kill the biggest deer in the woods. I don't have to kill the biggest deer. And I'm a firm believer if a deer trips a guy's trigger and it, gets him that adrenaline rush and he gets to experience that hunt, I don't think it matters what he shoots.
That's been me the last
I'm
2
not-
years. Last 2 years I've killed old, and I'm telling you, old management deer.
Yeah.
The last 2 years they've been banged up. This year I actually killed a deer that a friend of mine shot the year before.
We got it on video as well.
And if I would have been the shoes I am now, because I'm a tracker for Sean now. I'm running a German wired hair pointer this year. She's about to go to training, but 2 years ago when it got shot, it was a beautiful 10-point. Well, when it shot, the arrow lodged in its shoulder, and it actually deformed the deer's rack for the following year, the one I killed this year, and it just made so much story come into one ending. And you get a little more attached to those ones that have a story. That 2 years ago I shot a buck that came in. I had a huge 10-point that I was, I love running trail camera. I got one out now, but you grow fond to a deer, and that's the one you focus on. You pass so many deer, and I believe that year I probably passed a minimum of 15 different bucks that would have been very manageable, nice deer to kill. But I was focused on that one buck, and all of a sudden this old deer showed up, and he was a big old bully. He run the deer out of the woods, and at that moment, the day I noticed my trail cam pictures went from every day at this time I had this big 10-point, and then all of a sudden this scrappy-looking, heavy-horned deer showed up, and I'm like, what are you? And then everything disappeared. I'm like, okay, bud.
It became a challenge.
You have my attention, and now you're my go-to. And then when I close that loop, it just sure, like you said, everybody wants to kill a massive deer, but when I closed that loop, it just meant just as much to me as killing a monster buck, just because you put so much time into it.
I mean, I think that's kind of like not per se the problem, but a lot of people see nowadays when they click on the TV, everybody's killing these crazy monster deer, and no one anymore has a relationship with a certain buck, whether the size, the passion to hunt is, obviously the deer, and to enjoy yourself out in God's creation. It's not all about the size of the deer you kill every year. It's about the relationship with the deer and what you love to do. Obviously, that's your passion too. Or you would.
Well, like I say, it's not so much about me having to kill the biggest deer or whatever anymore. It's like I say, I love to create a story about a particular deer.
Yep.
And if you guys get a chance, we're going to air the last 2 kills that I've done in Kansas, both bow kills, on a piece of property that I've developed. This will be the 7th year that I've been able to, and it's a 45-acre piece of property. Wow. And I have shot 2 absolute studs on there. And when I say this, though, it's not about the score. It's about the age structure. Both of them are 5.5-year-old deer. And I know the deer through the trail cameras. I watch them grow up. But the stories that I get to tell on them are just pretty spectacular. The first one, the buck I named Hoss, I'll just give you a rundown. He's got a big drop time. And Hoss is an exceptional deer. And I rattled him up the first time at 3.5. And I passed him. And I developed this history with this deer. And I went through the whole season. And I shot him the last day, the last hour in Kansas of that hunt. But I slept in the blind. I got in the morning the day before. I stayed in that blind for 30-some, I don't remember now, 30-some odd hours. I stayed in that blind, spent the night without a heater. It got down to 7 degrees.
Man.
About froze to death. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
I shot that deer, and my wife came in at noon with me to come in and sit with me. And that of all the deer that I had come in, he came in that last hour and I shot him. He's a 170-inch deer, and it's one of the most special hunts because I got every angle of him coming in off the trail cameras coming into it. It was unbelievable, and then I got him, in 4K. I got it slow motion. I made a perfect 12-ring shot, and it's spectacular. And we're going to have that on Pursuit. And the deer that I shot this year is the deer I shot last year that I rattled up on that same piece of property before I obviously shot Hoss. And he reacted. I had a decoy out. I rattled him in. He was high strung. I shot. He whirled and reacted. You see it in slow motion. He caused the shot to hit him high as he whirled up in the neck. And I continued to hunt that deer. I passed a lot of deer up because I didn't get him right then, and I kept looking for him, hoping he's going to show up. And it's crazy. And then this year he showed up, and I shot that same particular deer. Self-videoed it. Both hunts are self-videoed, and I'm not bragging, but they're pretty darn solid hunts. And
that's awesome.
I shot him. It's a buck I called my homeboy, and he definitely, you can tell it's the same buck. The rack is pretty much identical, but the side he developed this flyer point where I shot him, and I think the reason why is the exit wound was bigger than the entrance wound with the particular broad deer, but I didn't hit no violence. I went through meat.
Hit the
And,
what I refer
I
to
ended
as
up
no
shooting
man's
him
land.
that deer. So
They're tough
the
animals.
stories, that's what I'm saying. The stories, and I passed up a lot of bucks to try to get the opportunity to get an arrow in him, and he is an absolute.
And that's
that
breaks up,
deer.
like you said, having the deer when you shot him, what I consider no man's land, and I've been known to do it. I on hand I could probably think to 4 to 5 deer that I've shot a little high, and they'd show up 2 or 3 weeks later, maybe a month later on camera, knowing that they were still alive.
Right.
But that comes back to the whole having a trusted a dog guy that you can call to track your deer.
Right.
And it comes back to David actually was a person this year. He shot a deer, kind of the way he swirled on him, kind of made a far back shot, and that was prior to me being with Sean at that time. And now, he called Sean, told him the location of the shot, where we tracked him. We tracked him a long ways in the dark.
Just simply explained it to us, really what we needed to do. Even without the dog, he knew kind of the situation. He knew how the deer was acting by us just explaining the story. He was able to give us guidance on what to do next. And it was one of those hunts, man, like you were saying before, you have a connection with a deer. I watched this deer for 4 years, watched him grow, hunted him the year before, and, he got away from me, and it kind of, be honest, it kind of pissed me off. And he got smart, and it was my gold deer. I was passing up tons of deer for this certain one, and then you get a shot like that, you get a little excited, and something like that happens. And I mean, it happens to everybody, but when you got someone like Sean to call or any tracking like that, he can explain to you.
Good to have. Yep.
Yeah, and give you that assurance. I mean, after I shot that deer, I couldn't sleep that night. I was just so excited, full of emotions. But
goes to closing the chapter of the story.
Yeah, he helped out a lot.
Phillip, I know you're a busy man, and I tell you what, we greatly appreciate you being a guest on our show today. It's
huge. I know you're going out there and you're getting ready for the next chapter of your day.
Yeah, guys, if you get a chance, Derek, you ever get a chance to check it out, I may air that show again on Pursuit. That deer I killed in Arkansas at home is my biggest typical. And there's deer, we just don't have deer like that. You know that in Arkansas and the Ozarks, because we don't have the farmland. But the deer I called Obsession, and I had a lot of history of him. And the smartest deer I've ever hunted by far. And I finally got an arrow, self-videoed it, but he's 185-inch 10-point.
Wow.
And you just don't have deer like that in the Ozarks.
I can testify to that. And I believe if I go back through our text messages here, I believe I sent you a picture of Obsession, and I was watching on TV. Actually, I'm looking at him right here, and I said, "Hey, do you remember this hunt?" And you said, "Yeah, boy."
Yeah, boy.
I tell you, that may be the most emotional I've ever been on a hunt when I shot him. Because I'm telling you guys, I was obsessed with him, and he just wasn't daylight, and he wasn't regular. He had a huge area that he traveled. I found out later on that there was trail camera pictures all the way. Well, and you know where I'm talking about. There, all the way into Quail Tree, all the way out to the base of Gaither Mountain out there.
Wow, that's
And
an area
out
there.
there back into the Gaither. And he was traveling through there, and I may get a picture once a month.
Right.
But I ended up getting food plots in, and I won't take up any more of your time. But as far as a story on a deer, that is why my wife started hunting. That's another reason, because she was checking trail cameras while I was elsewhere, and she got obsessed with the trail cameras, checking those trail cameras, decided she wanted to hunt.
How old was she when she decided to do that? Because I've been trying to get
She-
my wife into it.
She'll kill me for saying this, but she's 59 now. So she was about 55 before she ever started hunting. And I'm
That's
telling you,
awesome.
she's a killing machine,
That's
buddy.
awesome.
She don't miss. She's got that crossbow, and she loves turkey hunting and loves hunting good bucks. And she's even went out and done it on her own now. And obviously, I love the video of everything she does. But should get a Kansas tag this year. So hopefully, she's going to get an old big sad daddy with that crossbow. She loves it.
We can't wait to see the footage on that.
Well, I tell you what, Phillip, you ever get up in this area, I know we had kind of tossed around the idea this year. We thought we might be able to connect a little bit, do a little turkey hunting.
You're more than welcome to stay at his place or mine.
Well, I'd love to, guys, if you got some turkeys, maybe it's something Mike and I could run up and do. I know he's wanting to hunt some newer places, and we're both getting older. Mike just turned 60. I'm 62. I've got a guy that wants me to come and hunt Maryland and has invited me up there. Of course, Ohio, I know, has got turkeys. And maybe there's an opportunity there to get out east and see if we can't knock some turkeys down.
Coming from Arkansas, I'm going to tell you what. When I heard these turkeys gobble here, I just kind of laughed, and some of the guys I've hunted with, they're like, "What are you laughing about?" I was like, "These Thunderbirds, they don't stand a chance with me because I ain't heard this many gobbles in a while."
Well, we have a lot of gobblers out here. We've been blessed. We got a lot of gobblers. That's what my family farm. We have 632 acres, and we're blessed to say that we're able to hunt all the time, and see birds, see deer, everything like that. I mean, we're super blessed.
Well, that's
here.
good, man. That's
you
great. And y'all got a 2-bird limit? Is it 2-bird limit?
Two bird
limit.
They're so populated here, and like I said earlier in this podcast, I feel like there is a decline, but we have a fall season as well here.
I just looked at how many birds were killed this year in the spring. It was 9,366 turkeys were harvested in West Virginia, and that's a pretty good number.
But we have a fall season, a spring season, and then West Virginia, and I'm going to be wrong on these numbers or years, but just in the last few years, they started a heritage season that's in January. Yeah. That you can only use like a traditional
black powder
or recurve. Me and David, we both were lucky enough this year.
We did a double together on video.
We doubled up on turkeys this year on video, sitting there in a blind on the edge of a field, waiting for a deer.
Let me tell you, shooting one with a 50 caliber and deciding you're going to breast that baby out is that's a hard no. And decide to mount him, that's a hard no.
Yeah,
they put a good size hole in them.
I bet that's right.
Especially at 25 yards.
Well, Phillip, we greatly
hey,
appreciate
you guys
your
gonna
time,
see me?
brother.
Hey, you gonna see me shoot one probably with a muzzleloader? Hopefully this fall. CVA. I've teamed up, as a sponsor partner with CVA. They got that new little 410 Scout shotgun to shoot turkeys with, and then I'm probably shooting one of them Paramounts this fall with a muzzleloader. So I'm looking forward to it, guys. I'm wanting to expand out because we as hunters need to expand out, and there's more gun hunters than there is anything, and I'm all about keeping our tradition, and that Second Amendment means a lot to me, and I'm gonna pursue it even more than I have.
Absolutely.
And so just so you guys know, but I do appreciate talking with you all. I wish you the best of luck. We'll stay in touch, And remember, people can find us on the Hunt channel. We are on the Hunt channel. It's a free channel, and you find it. It's a uh, digital platform, just like Carbon TV. And Carbon TV, I've got 9 seasons, guys. People can go back. That's a good thing. They're archived. And that's also what Pursuit's going to do is they've got that Pursuit up now to where you'll be able to go back and watch a particular show, or if you missed it and things like that. So that's a valuable tool, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Along, with the Pursuit channel doing that. So we're looking forward to it. Our first fall season going into it. And then obviously Carbon TV is my 9th season. I think we're going into our 2nd full season with the Hunt channel, and they do a great job. We have a short version that we do hunts on, and then we have a longer version. So, so many ways to get in touch with us, and you can Google and find us on Facebook and Instagram, Phillip Vanderpool, The Virtue TV. We have The Virtue Crew. We're on Instagram and Facebook all over the place. So, thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to visit with you, and I wish you all the best. And hopefully, if you need the tracking dog, that's great, but hopefully you can make good shots and you don't have to worry about it. But it is nice to know that you got a great situation there with the tracking dogs. No
Absolutely.
question about that.
Yeah, that's, you talk about the Carbon TV. We're kind of hoping, we haven't quite figured out how to get the stability there, but we're kind of hoping to do a little filming of our, dog tracks. And, I have a GoPro. We kind of tossed around the idea of putting a GoPro on the dog, but that might give a little bit of vertigo to the people watching it. The dogs don't really, they don't really have a glide of a walk.
No.
Well, I started to say you just have to figure that out, and there may be a way. They got those little helmets. You may have to put it on his head and stuff. It could be used in conjunction with another camera.
Absolutely.
You may have to jump back and forth. Following them along. With maybe a GoPro that you're following along behind. With and get that. Especially once they get to the deer, if they settle down and stuff, it may be a pretty cool thing to do now. Okay.
Absolutely, helping everybody close that chapter like we were talking about earlier. So,
yeah, trial and error.
Well, listen to you guys. I appreciate you. Good luck and God bless, and we'll stay in touch. And I wish you all the best. Okay.
Thank you very much, Phillip. You have a wonderful day, man. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Man, that was pretty good, huh? Jeez.
I'm gonna tell you what, that was a informational.
Oh man, you can't get any better of a guy like that. I mean, Phillip, he's a true guy. He tells you how it is, and there's no gray area in what he's talking about. The guy's been doing it for quite a long time.
And that obsession buck he was talking about, that's less than 5 miles from where my home is.
Really?
From now that I moved here,
right?
You don't hear of guys killing deer like that in Arkansas.
No, I mean he's full of knowledge. I'd love to just sit down and just soak up all his knowledge, and just really get to know all his life secrets.
We back up to the one that we did.
Yeah.
We were talking about, you hate to use the term, but old timers.
Yeah.
And he kind of pointed it out as well. They laid the paving stones of what we're doing now.
Right.
I mean, my dad has a huge buck on the wall. There was no such thing as a trail camera.
No.
And I think the first one he bought had the 35 millimeter.
Oh, they were
film
big old
cam.
Boxes too. Yeah.
So it's amazing how the time has changed and the abilities to assist on everything. You go back to the cameras, you go to trail cameras, now we have tracking dogs. So I think everything was great, and I look forward to the next season and next episode.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited. Old Phillip, he gave me a little bump for this next year. Man, we got a good spring. Hopefully, we got a lot of good fawns, healthy fawns going on, and we'll see a lot of action. But
yeah, I was just at my food plot I mentioned in the last one.
Yeah.
I was there Monday mowing the edges.
Right.
And it's come on strong.
Oh man.
And
I can't wait.
Now I have a year-round food source. I'm excited about that.
Start getting our minerals out there, get corn. That's what we're going to talk about, our sponsors. And the first one I got on here is Peanut Addiction. Maybe we can get a bag of that and set out and see what happens,
Absolutely.
Yeah, but we're going to bring up our sponsors. We're going to come to an ending today, and we appreciate everybody listening. And like I said, you got any questions or anything, give Sean Butler a call. He's getting his pups trained right now, and, he's going to be getting ready for this next year.
Full blown right now.
It's going to be crazy here coming deer season. So we're going to bring up, like I said, we got Peanut Addiction. They're Mr. McCoy USA brand. get your order in today. I don't know if they sell it on shelf or where they sell it, but you can visit their website and order yours today. They have a bunch of different flavors. Pure addiction for the deer. Got a lot of nutrients, calcium, stuff like that that the deer need. We also got thorn broadheads. We got fixed broadheads. They got regular broadheads. They got all your different kinds of blades. And, they're disposable blades. You can always put a new blade on and fix it and, keep using the broadhead over and over. We also got Base Camp Coffee. They're out of Cumberland, Maryland. And, man, they got all sorts of different kinds of coffees. You got to check them out. They also have a store, bunch of different pastries. You can order yours today. You can get on their website or on our Instagram. Check them out. They got tons of good-looking stuff on there. And we also got Still Hollow Spirits from Job, West Virginia. They whiskey, corn whiskey. They got different kinds of whiskeys, different kinds of like bourbons, different flavors like that. Check them out as well. And then we also have Dan's Hunting Gear from Sugar Creek, Ohio. And like I said, I can't say it enough. They got all your gear, dog collars, beds, chaps, coats, gloves. I mean, you use some of their
trackers.
Yeah, you use their pants this year. I mean,
Oh yeah.
they got a lot of stuff on there. They're, like I said, Dan's Hunting Gear from Sugar Creek, Ohio. Check them out. Lawson McKee, I appreciate it, buddy. We're gonna have to get everything ready and see how this.
Not long till deer season.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. It's all about getting ready for the next year.
absolutely.
All right, y'all have a great one. Thank you. Bye.
Don't go by the moss log. Jill flirted in a soup fog. You turn around in Laurel, you'll never come home. I could high step the rock bowl and drop in a king coal. That's a mountaineer's hunt, son. Don't go it alone. Hemlock Rock is where I'll stay today. Whiskey's got me feeling frail. If I get cold from sitting, I'll take another swig and head down Cadillac Trail. There's always a big rack on top beach flat. I tracked them in circles till the nights came on. There's always a dandy at the bottom of Gandy. The ghosts of old Red Creek, you swear they're all gone. Hemlock Rock is where I'll stay today. Whiskey's got me feeling frail. If I get cold from sitting, I'll take another swig and head down Cadillac Trail. Where I'll stay today. Whiskey's got me feeling frail. If I get cold from sitting, I'll take another swig and head down Cadillac Trail. Head down Cadillac Trail.